Okay, we're gonna come back. Our frame is welded together. I got my welder in. It works a whole lot better. And I've cut the notch out for the axle. In the process of making templates, as you can see. And I go about these like I take the square that I want, and then I cut off the top section, and then I cut off the bottom section to keep it kind of clean. And I just use a straight roller, a pencil, and a blade. So I've made these for each end. I'm only going to cap one side, so I'm going to cap the outside, even though it's welded. I'm going to put a 1-inch piece of steel in there and weld both sides of it, so I can make sure that I'm not getting any separation. All your weight is going to be right here, so you want to make sure this is tied in good to this, and this is tied in good to this. The back end you really don't have to worry about because it's not going to have much weight. We're going to eventually shell out the bed. And we cut the wheel wells out of it just to get an eye look. I put a lot of things in place. So now I've got to come in here and grind all these ugly welds out and put a pretty big bead through there. I got a piece of 2-inch square stock so I can put in between here, and that's what I'll be attaching the 4-link with. I'll probably use a piece of the 2x4 and come off of the frame rail with it, and then I'll tie it all together, but we'll get to that later. Right now we're just finishing off the frame, doing our final welding and putting our final plates on. And once all that's done, I'll bring you back with a painted frame, and we'll be getting into putting the 4-link in. Hopefully by then we'll have the roll cage in and the motor will be here. So we'll keep going with this for now. Alright, let me bring you back to the last portion of the frame building. What I did was I made templates, like I said, out of cardboard, and now I have a bunch of templates to go places where I want to strengthen up the frame. I have them all cut for both sides. I cut out the notch for the axle, put in a piece. I still have to cut more and do some finish up work, but I want to weld everything together. The back section of the hoop and all has been welded. I made plates, just simple plates for down here to just make sure everything's nice and solid. In the back section, like I said, I'm really not that worried about. I made plates to go in here to box this off. Then I'll put a triangle in later to just tighten it up. But the main thing I wanted to worry about was making sure the hoop for the shocks was nice and sturdy and hooked to the front frame. Eventually, once the roll cage and all is put in, I'll be coming through with my lower bars to probably right there to hook the rear section to the frame. You can use a lot of different materials. I wanted to go with the 2x4 to make it all look uniform. I'm sure I'm going to get hit with, oh, the weight, but seems to me a problem with the S10s is there's not enough weight in the rear. So that's why I'm doing it this way, and later on we're going to be bringing the radiator and putting it back here, and 2 cooling, one for my oil and one for my transmission. So they'll all have separate coolers, and they'll all be in the bed. But this is where we're at right now. I'm going to weld these plates on. I'll be able to paint everything up. I'll be able to clean the rear and bring it over and cut off everything that's not needed on it so it can be welded up. I'll go ahead and paint everything, and all this stuff will be closed off by then. You know, all the holes and everything. I'm gonna cut more out of this section here before I tighten it down and make the plate for it. Still gonna grind down the ugly welds and put pretty welds in. I'm gonna be adding a 4-length on the next section, and that's where I'll be tying the 4-link in somewhere in here, and I'll be tying it to this portion of the frame too. So that'll be the next section we work on, will be the 4-link. Alright, have a good one. Hey everyone, I wanted to bring you back and clarify some things before you get welding. Like, you know, we put jack stands underneath of the portions of our frame with wood chocks, and now this is where you double check everything, make sure everything's where it needs to be. And the weight on the ass end, I took the bars that I was using before, and this will hold everything in place when you weld these plates on. And because once these plates are welded on there, everything will be really sturdy. It won't move around or anything on you. And that's how you go about making sure that everything's still good. You just do a lot of double checks at this point. You know, take your braces and run them from the front to the back like you had before, and check that and make sure everything's still touching the metal. And this will help make sure that way once you're done welding and you're going to put everything back together, it'll go together nice and easy for you. What I'm going to wind up doing is, I got the 2 bolts for the rear. I'm going to wind up slicing this down. It's just like maybe a long triangle, but that'll be once everything's done. And I just wanted to show you one more step. That way, once you get done, you're done. You don't have to cut nothing and make something move and then re-weld things, because that's what'll happen. If it's not right, you'll have to cut somewhere and relieve the stress and re-weld and plate it again. So, and then that will throw your weight off from one side to the other. This way you pretty much got the same amount of weight that you're putting on both sides, because each piece that you cut out is exactly the same. So that'll keep the weight transfer equal. Alright, and when we come back, we'll be doing the 4-link like I said. Alright, have a good one.